because I know how important tonight is. So we are all in for a treat because the speaker that we have tonight, what I like about him, he speaks straight. Sometimes the hard truth is hard to hear, but I think we all need to hear the truth from time to time. And he speaks the truth. Whatever he says, it's true. There's no other way around it. I respect him because of his integrity, of his loving heart, always giving, contributing. But now he doesn't have to do the business anymore, and yet he's still here because earlier we had a talk and he said that after I make money, and when we're talking make money, we're not talking about a few $100,000. We're talking about millions of dollars. Once we make the money, the next thing is not to enjoy it by ourselves, but to help other people make the money as well. That's why he's here. And I was a little bit sad to hear that he's only going to stick around for 3 more years with us. So after 3 years, even if you want to hear him talk, you can. You won't. So if you be stuck with me, you don't want that. Okay, so to make it short, we have a very, very successful leader from far away. And from what I know, he flew in here in his own private jet. And then after the meeting, he'll be flying out as well to another meeting tomorrow morning. So we only have a few short hours with him. And those of you who came in a little bit earlier, you had some question and answer with him already. But for the next hour, please pay attention, take good notes, because we don't know when he'll come back. So his name is Nathan Ricks, one of the most successful leaders in our company. But I don't just respect him because of the money he makes, but about the differences he makes in people's lives, especially mine. So I really, really appreciate him, and I really appreciate him for coming here. So together, if you don't mind, please help me welcome Nathan Ricks.
Well, I got to tell you.
We love you! We love you! We love you!
Thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. All right. Well, I got a lot of respect for On and for Ron and for everybody else who's like here doing this in a very committed way, helping a lot of other people. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Better if I do this? Maybe I should just hold it. Yeah, that's okay. So I have a lot of respect for all of you too, and I learn a lot every time I talk to these leaders and listen and try to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. So tonight we have 1 hour. I do need to walk out of here at 8:30 because I'm supposed to be in the air at 9 o'clock to San Antonio, Texas. That's where I'll sleep tonight. And we have meetings in San Antonio tomorrow at noon, and we have Houston tomorrow night, and then we all have the Memorial Day weekend coming, right? So I wanted to get this set of meetings in before that weekend. For those of you that are here for the first time tonight, I hope this is a kind of a life-changing meeting for you. And I want to invite you to write down a few notes or jot them down on your phone, but please put your phone on silent so you don't interrupt these people that have driven 8 and 10 and 9 hours, however long, to come here and be here tonight. Can you show me if you're here for the first time? Just raise your hand. We can see who you are tonight. Okay, great. Thank you so much for being here. The reason I want you to raise your hand is because it allows me to see your faces. And you can imagine that I've done this kind of a presentation tens of thousands of times. Tens of thousands, okay? So you may think that it would get old for me to do this, that it would be boring for me to say the same thing over and over and over again. But when I see those new faces, when you raise your hand and I see your face, I think about when I was sitting in the same chair you're in the same spot you're in when I first heard about Nu Skin. And for me, it was on a telephone. I wasn't sitting in a chair, right? I was actually on the phone. And I was doing real estate in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I was making what I thought was really good money. I did not think I was looking for anything new in my life. And my brother-in-law called. And of course, I knew he had been involved in Nu Skin. I knew he'd been doing it for probably 4 years already at that point. And I didn't have any interest in it. at all. I was fine doing my real estate business. And when I came home that night, it was late, and I was tired, and I just wanted to have my dinner and relax. And he calls me. And he's starting telling me all about Nu Skin, probably 4 or 5 minutes straight. And I finally interrupted him, and I said, Craig, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate that you would think about me, but I am not going to do Nu Skin. And I was really definite about that. And the phone just went quiet, and he's a person that doesn't give up, thank goodness. And he came back strong, and he said, what is your problem? And I thought, great, he wants to know my problem. I think I'll tell him. And I said, Craig, my problem is you've already been doing this for like 4 years. You're already way up here. And if I start tonight, all I'll do is my efforts will just push you higher. You'll just get richer off my back. And that'll drive me crazy the rest of my life. And that's my problem. And he came back really strong, and he said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. He said, why should you care about the money I'm already making at Nu Skin? He said, I did not see you here working Nu Skin with me. He said, you chose real estate, and I chose Nu Skin, and maybe you made the wrong choice. And then he said, Nathan, mark my words. I am going to move forward in this company with or without you. Kind of like saying to me, he doesn't need me. He's going to do it anyway, whether I do it or not, right? And that's the first time I started actually listening. And then he said, let me tell you your problem. I said, great. What is it? He said, your problem is you are in the wrong vehicle. And he was not talking about my car that I was driving. He was talking about my financial vehicle that I was using to make the money to feed my family and live my life. And that was my real estate business. And he said, it's like you're pedaling a bicycle. He said, me, I'm driving a Ferrari. And it doesn't matter how fast you pedal that bicycle, you will never catch up to me in my Ferrari. And that stuck in my head. That analogy about the bicycle and the Ferrari stuck in my head. And I remember the next day when I went to my real estate office, I sat down at my desk first thing in the morning, and I asked myself one question. Why is this a bicycle? What is wrong with my real estate business? Why is the Nu Skin business so much better in his mind than my real estate business? Because in the real world, people think real estate's a real business, and they think network marketing's not a real business. And he was so confident that his business was so much better than being in real estate, I wanted to understand why. Why is he saying that? And it didn't take very long. I spent 2 weeks really digging into Nu Skin, meeting with the management team, talking to their banker, checking out the products, talking to people about what the possibilities were at Nu Skin. And I realized that in my real estate business, I made the vast majority of my money within 10 square miles of my real estate office. That's where my influence was in the real estate business. I was dependent on that. For me to go outside that 10 square miles meant I had to go lease another office, hire more agents, put in more desks and phones and chairs and all the issues. And then I had to manage it, right? And I would have to do that repeatedly. He didn't have to do any of that. He could recruit people in the whole city, the whole state, the whole country. And he could scale his business really fast. That's something that's very important to understand about a business is what does it take to scale a business, to multiply it, to really get a footprint out there, right? Because in most traditional businesses, it's lots of money, lots of risk, lots of employees, lots of taxes, lots of problems to scale, to get it big enough, right? And the difference here is you can scale this kind of a business really fast with literally no risk. And that's why I've gone to more than 50 countries around this world, and I've told this story to people in all those countries, millions of people. And I've told them, this is the best business you will ever see in your life. Why? Because you can scale it. You create so much upside, and you do it with literally no downside. And I've never seen another business like that. And so tonight, I'm going to assume that everybody here is looking for a business. I'm going to assume that you've arrived at the point in your thinking where you admit that you can never make it financially working for somebody else. That you understand that there's a marketplace for employment and that companies don't have to pay you any more than market. Because if you don't want to do that job for the market rate, then they'll go find somebody else to do the job for the market rate. Okay? And if you understand that a job is just a job, it's just a job. It's nothing more. It'll just pay you enough to keep you coming back, but they will never pay you enough to make you free. They don't have to, and they won't. Okay? So you're going to end up trading your life away for money. Everybody does it. They trade time for money, back and forth, work and home, every day, trading time for money. And this business allows you to destroy that equation. This business allows you, in the end, to not have to trade time for money anymore. And that's what every professional person does in this city. Every lawyer, doctor, dentist, consultant, CPA that got the extra initials behind their name, they're all trading time for money. Everybody who works for a company, punches a time clock, it gets a salary, okay? They're all trading time for money. And I promise you, there's not enough hours in your day to trade for money and make that trade enough times every day for you to get rich. It is impossible. And so if you're going to continue to pursue that path in your life, it will never happen financially. You'll never get to the place you want to be financially where you've got complete financial control over your life and your future. Okay? So if you're already at that place, then you're in the right place tonight. Because we're going to show you a tremendous business. One that has tremendous upside with virtually no downside. And the difference of what it takes is work. It just takes work. That's what it takes. All right. So having said that, let's talk a little bit about 5 points tonight. And these are the points we'll talk about. We'll talk about market trends. We'll talk about technology and products. We'll talk about the company. We'll talk about compensation. And we'll talk about timing. And I'll tell you when I'm going from one point to the next. All right, when we talk about market trends, why do we talk about market trends first? Why is it the first point out of these 5 points? Because if you have a great company, but there's no real demand for the company or its products, it doesn't matter how good the company is. It doesn't matter how nice the people are, okay? You can have an amazing product, but if people don't know they need the product, or they're not educated on the product, or people aren't willing to spend money on those kinds of products, then you're going to have a long, long road ahead of you. It's not going to happen very fast. The reason we talk about market trends first is this. If you can see where the big trends are in the economy, that is the place that people are already spending money. They're willing to spend money in those areas. And what we're looking for are sectors or segments of the economy that are growing at a much faster rate than the overall economy. In the United States, the Federal Reserve has been printing money, easy money, low interest rates to try to get this economy to grow at least 2% a year or more. And we have not been successful in the last 8 years doing that. Okay? So this economy has just been very slowly bumping along. All right? We're looking for much faster growth. We're looking for areas that are growing at 20 to 30% a year. Because by definition, if there's that much growth happening, there's opportunity there. If your market you're employed in is flat, there is no opportunity. It's not growing. So you're just trying to divide up a finite pie. It's not an expanding pie where there's opportunity, right? And so that's why we talk about this first. We think it's safer. We think it's more efficient to find these areas where people are already spending a lot of money and they're growing really fast. And go find products that fit inside of those fast-growing areas. Because now you already know there's demand. That question's answered, right? And so that's why we talk about market trends as the first most important thing when you look at any business. Okay? So then the second thing is the product. And the third thing is, who's your partner? And the fourth thing is, how do you get paid? And the last thing is, why should you do it now? Right? Okay, so these are 4 major trends. These are global trends. And that's why this company will become a $10 billion company. Mark my words. It will happen. Okay? Why? These first two, anti-aging and health and wellness, are tied together. Today, what's happening is human lifespan is being extended. As late as 1940 in this country, people would die. Most people died in their 40s. 44, 45, 46, 47 years of age. They were gone, okay? It's really only been the last 70 or 80 years that we've witnessed this huge extension of human lifespan. Okay, for all the history of the earth, until 70 or 80 years ago, most people died in their 30s or 40s. They would barely reproduce themselves for a few years and then they'd be dead. Okay? So was there a big anti-aging demand in those days? No. People died before they got wrinkles. Right? So nobody cared about anti-aging. But today, because you've got so many people living to these really long age spans, right? Most people in modern westernized countries are almost averaging 80 years of age now. Almost 80 years of age. In another 50 years, it'll be 90 years of age. In 100 years, it'll be 100 years of age, right? In 2100, right? It'll be like people will be living to 100 all the time. And because we're extending human lifespan, all of a sudden new markets emerge. Fast-growing markets, exploding markets actually. Today, there's more than 1 billion people alive on this planet more than 65 years of age. In the next 5 years, this planet will go through peak youth. You know what peak youth is? That's when there's more people alive over age 65 than there are people alive under age 15. So most of this planet in the next 5 years is going to be shifting towards these older age brackets. Okay? That's the fact. This is what's happening globally. And it's creating a huge new business that didn't even exist 30 years ago. And it's called the anti-aging business, right? And the health and wellness business. And when you realize you're going to live that much longer, then people want two things. One, they want to look better longer. Okay? They don't want to get wrinkles. They don't want to get saggy skin. They don't want to look old and look old for a long time. Okay? And they want to live better longer. They don't want to be in a wheelchair or a nursing home or an Alzheimer's center the last 10 years of their life, right? They want to be alive and functioning and enjoy life and have the ability to move their body and their brain can think and those kinds of things, right? So they want to live better longer. That's where health and wellness comes in. And they want to look better longer, right? Which is the exterior side of it. Okay, and that's tied to health and wellness, and it's tied to our exterior products as well as our interior products that we have in the company. So those markets are booming, and there's big demand for those kinds of technologies and products, and that's why we are in those markets. The third one is technology and communication. Today, the world has become a network. We have 1.7 billion people connected on Facebook. There's more humanity that is connected to other humanity than any time in the history of this world. Okay, it's never happened before like this. When you're in a network business like ours, where we build networks of people, having this ability makes our business so much faster, so much cheaper to build, and so much more efficient, right? I mean, they've just taken the friction out of trying to build networks around the world. When I started doing this, there was no internet. There was barely cell phones, okay? I'm just telling you, my phone bill was always $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And those of you that are young in this room, you can't even comprehend that. It's like, what do you mean? You didn't have a cell phone plan in those days? No, we didn't. We didn't have cell phones. We had phones that had wires tied into walls, and that was it. And they were expensive, right? Today, it's so much faster, so much easier to do what you can do here. And the last one is supplemental income. And this one relates to points 1 and 2. Why is there a massive growing need for people to make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month in their retirement? A, because most people are not prepared for retirement. They've not put away any money or saved nearly enough, right? And all of a sudden when they retire, they're going to cut their lifestyle by 70%. That's going to be painful for a lot of people, all right? The very fact that we're now living longer than anybody ever thought this many people would live has destroyed the actuarial tables on every pension plan. Social Security, every government pension, every private pension is underfunded. The numbers don't work anymore. They didn't plan on this many people living this long. Okay? It's a fact. And so they're all screwed. And that means everybody in this room is going to get less money than you thought you were going to get out of your retirement plan or your pension plan. Because they're going to have to lower the amounts and stretch it out further to give everybody something. And that means you're going to be short $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And that will make the difference between some dignity in retirement or total poverty in retirement. Now you tell me, if people are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they need to keep making money, are they going to go do landscaping or dig ditches or lay cement? Their bodies aren't going to do that anymore. But they're going to be able to move their mouth and share with people great anti-aging strategies that people are going to be interested in anyway, right? And they're going to come streaming into these kinds of companies by the millions because they need a way to create some extra money. And this is a great way to do it. All right, so these businesses are proof that we're in a network economy. They didn't even exist 10 years ago, and now they dominate their whole industries, right? These are changing the way people do business in every one of these areas right there. Check this out. This is retail sales for the first quarter of 2016. This is like January through March this year, okay? Look at that. Retail, this is department stores. This is like, you know, the big-time department stores, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, you know, all these department stores, negative 47%. Negative growth, right? Look at online retailers like Amazon, 143% growth year over year. So there was a day in this country when people said, you'll never survive selling your products and delivering them by FedEx or UPS. If you got to ship all your product to somebody's house, you'll never be able to make it. They're going to need to come to my store. Well, guess what? Not true. How do all of our products arrive at all of our customers' houses? By FedEx or UPS, right? So we're part of this same kind of online, new network connected world reality that is happening. Stores are dead, okay? This kind of marketing, online marketing, is where the future is, right here. Okay, we're done with number one. We just finished market trends. Now we're going to talk about products and technology, okay? Everybody got some notes on market trends? Yes. Okay, good. I hope you got them written down. All right, now we're going to go to number two, all right? I want to talk about the Gillette model. This is, you go to business school, they teach you the Gillette model. What's the Gillette model? Well, years ago, like more than 100 years ago, Gillette came out with razor blades. And they came out with a razor, and they would almost sell the razor at cost so that you would buy the blades that go in the razor every month for the rest of many years to come, right? And they understood that the device, the razor, was not the business. It was the consumption of the blades over and over and over that was the real business, right? So ever since that time, companies are out there trying to create these Gillette models where they can get this monthly recurring consumption, right? Your cell phone is a Gillette model. The device of your cell phone is just a device. It's not worth anything. You can throw it away, right? It's the ability to buy mints that go into that phone that create the value. They want the monthly payment you're going to make. They don't care about the phone. Okay? These are some other ones. Everybody's probably got a printer at your house, right? Okay, well, they'll sell the printer at cost because they know you'll buy that very expensive ink every time that thing runs out because you got to keep printing, right? And they're going to make money on the ink. In your kitchen of your house, you may have a custom coffee machine. In this continent, it's Keurig. Keurig owns the custom home brewing market. In Europe, it's Nespresso. In Asia, it's other providers, right? But these companies figured out we can sell the machine at a low cost because we want the monthly coffee consumption. Those cartridges are going to plug in that machine, and we want it for years to come. All right? And if you look at your house and you analyze your house, you know, you've got these kind of people, maybe down here, you know, Cox Cable and others, right? There's some provider that's pushing, you know, content to your television screen, and you pay them every month. So your screen is the device, and the content is the real business, right? And you got the same thing going on with Keurig and Nespresso in your kitchen, right? So your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, you've got a panel on the wall so you can monitor your windows and doors, make sure nobody breaks in, and you pay a monthly monitoring fee for your alarm system in your house, right? And then you've got your home office, and people have the printers in there and the ink, and you pay them every time those cartridges run out. So people are using the Gillette model on most of the rooms in your house and on your body with your phone, okay? And there's only one room that they really haven't captured yet, and that's the bathroom, okay? And that's where we come in. And it just so happens to be that the bathroom is the only room that you have to go in every day. You can skip the other rooms, but you can't skip the bathroom, right? Okay. So we have a product called ageLOC Me. This is a brand new device that no one's ever seen before. Nu Skin has launched this device in a few markets in Asia this year, and they launched it on March 7th in Europe. And we're doing thousands of units a month in Europe, okay? This is a very unique product that is meant to capture the bathrooms of the world. And so the idea is we will sell this at cost or close to it, and what we'll get out of it is we'll get the monthly recurring cartridges. So here's what I do. I just have one of these, ageLOC Me's, and I open the top like this, and I say to people, what does that look like? And people say, that looks like the cartridges in my printer at my house. And I say, exactly. How many of you in this room received a phone call from Keurig 15 years ago, and they said, hey, we've got a new way to brew coffee. We think everybody's going to want personalized coffee, and if you're willing to go sell these coffee machines into people's kitchens, we will pay you every month for the rest of your life on all the coffee they drink through this machine. How many people got that phone call? I didn't think so. Or did HP, did Hewlett-Packard come to anybody in this room and say, we're going to start selling these printers that have these cartridges, and if you want to help us put these printers in people's houses, we'll pay you on the ink cartridges every month for the rest of your life? Nobody got that phone call? I didn't think so. Okay? Well, what we're saying to everybody in this country and around the world now is that we're going to put these in all the bathrooms of the world, and we're inviting you to have the opportunity to place these machines in those bathrooms. And if you do that, we will pay you on the consumption of these cartridges that go through this machine for as long as they use them in this machine, okay? We will pay you that. And it's a pretty amazing offer because no one's ever done anything like this before. Why will people do this instead of what they've been doing? They're dipping their finger in their jar of skincare cream and put it on their face. This is the world's first 3D printing skincare device. That's what this is. People ask you what it is, you say it's the world's first 3D printing skincare device, and we have no competition. And this story is so simple, you guys. You don't need to know the word ageLOC. You don't need to talk about, genetic expression or anything else. All you do is you just open the top like this and say, what does that look like? You just ask people that question, and they go, that looks like the cartridges in my printer. And you say, exactly. Would you like to get paid on the consumption of those cartridges for the rest of your life? How many of these machines can you place in people's bathrooms? Because if you can, we'll pay you, significant money for a long, long time. We have the Gillette model for the bathroom. And Nu Skin is going to keep making that device better and better and better. This is the first personalized device. I have a McDonald's restaurant near my home. I was driving down the street a month ago, and I looked over at the McDonald's restaurant because there was a big banner pasted on the side of the wall. You know what it said on the banner? Make your own burger inside. Like, come into McDonald's and you can customize your own burger. I thought, you got to be kidding me. We've even gotten to McDonald's customizing hamburgers now, because it used to be the antithesis of customization. Like, it's a Big Mac, dude. If you want to take it, if you don't change anything. Right? Well, even McDonald's now is willing to let consumers customize their burger. And that is a trend that is going through every industry. Consumers today want to know that the providers of their products know them, know their needs, are willing to meet their needs specifically. So how did we come up with this ageLOC Me device? Here's how it happened. Here's the story behind it. Nu Skin did a global survey 6 years ago where they sent out this survey to 6,000 of our customers all over the world, every continent, all right? And they asked them very specific questions about them, their age, their ethnicity, where they lived in the world, their kind of skin, and all these things. And they collected all this information, and they brought it back to the headquarters in Provo, Utah. They began to analyze the data. And guess what they learned? They said we need to make about 300 different skincare products if we're going to satisfy the demands of so many different kinds of people. Well, do you want to build 300 different kinds of products and put them in your warehouses all over the world and try to manage all that inventory and make sure it's fresh and all that stuff? Impossible, right? So what they said is they asked the question, how could we do that? How could we provide the exact product that these people need for themselves, for their skin? And that's where they came up with this. They hired the best engineers, the best industrial designers, the best scientists. They spent almost $40 million in 6 years developing this ageLOC Me technology that we have today. And no one has ever done anything like it. A few weeks ago, the CEO of L'Oreal had his engineers in a room just like this, and this guy was mad. He was really ticked off. And he held up one of these devices. He got his hands on an ageLOC Me, and he said, really? He's got all of his engineers in the room, and he's going, really? Look at this. Really? Provo, Utah? Not Paris, France? The skincare capital of the world? How could this little company in Provo, Utah beat you guys and come up with this thing? You guys should have come up with something like this. And believe me, he's got all of his engineers trying to figure out how to get around these patents and come up with something like this. Why do you think? Why do you think the CEO of the biggest skincare cosmetic company in the world is just freaked out that we just did this? Why do you think? Here's why, guys, because it's way better. Okay? It delivers product you cannot deliver it any other way. I'll give you some examples. We can do 2,000 customized formulas. We can put those 5 cartridges in there through an app. You download the ageLOC app to your smartphone, and you go through the assessment on your phone. Okay? You put in all the answers to the questions. You dial in your skin type. It knows where you are based on the GPS chip in your phone. It knows your latitude and longitude. So it knows the average temperature and humidity throughout the year where you live. Okay? So we can change the kinds of cartridges we send you, and we can change the mixture so that we can make a product specifically for you. All right? So that's how it works. Okay, when you finish the assessment, that information goes to Nu Skin. They know exactly which 5 cartridges out of 38 that you need to have, and they know how to mix them for you. Okay? So that's how you get a customized product. Are you aware that in the world of skincare, there's some ingredients that you can't even put in a jar? You can't put them in the jar together because they don't like each other. They don't play well together. They cancel each other out chemically. They destroy each other. So they're not only not good, but they may be bad for you. Now, for the first time, because we can hold those ingredients separate until the moment of use, we can now use ingredients that no one's ever been able to use in skincare ever before. The quality of product you get out of this machine is so far above anything we have today as a company, and way above what anybody else has. All right? In the future, people won't be using bottles and jars. Today we do. We still have bottles and jars. But I'm just telling you, in the future, it's going to go to this kind of a dispensing. And it's going to do it because it's that much better. What does our competition say? They go, here's our jar. It's just like McDonald's used to do. Here's our Big Mac. Take it or leave it, right? That's all they can do is go, here's our jar. Do you want it or not? One size fits all. You know? Nobody's different. Here, this will work for everybody. Not true. Everybody's different in very unique, different ways. And so all of a sudden now, we can address it and we can put that together. We've got 4 patents with 27 claims and counting. We're going to file more patents. We're creating a barrier so that those guys at L'Oreal and other companies cannot immediately come and copy us. But mark my words, they will figure out how to get around us eventually. And that's why it's critical that we explode on the market with this product. We have first mover advantage. What does that mean? First mover advantage. What does it mean? It means you're the first one to get to that room in the house and own it. If I've got a Keurig coffee machine in my house and I've got 30-day supply of K-Cups up in my cupboard that go in that machine, how successful will somebody else be who has a new machine? They come to my house and say, Nathan, throw your Keurig away. You know, I know it's working just fine for you, but throw it away because I've got a better coffee maker that I can put in your house. If I've got my supply in the cupboard and that machine's working just fine for me, how apt am I to chuck my machine, spend a whole bunch more money, throw away my inventory in my cupboard, and switch over? Not very likely. Not very likely. That's why we have to get there first, because they are coming after us, because they understand that this is the new way. Old school, new school. Old school's going to go away. This is the future, and they get it. They know they have to get there. We just changed the game globally in skincare. How big is skincare? 100 billion plus, and growing at more than 20% a year. 100 billion plus. And what do these people that are aging want? They've got money, and they want to look better longer, and they want to live better longer, right? You've got this massive growing market that is willing to pay for customized, you know, highly potent, very pure skincare. What do you think happens every time you stick your finger in a jar of skincare? What do you do every time you stick your finger in? You put bacteria in it. And that's why every skincare company has antimicrobials and antibacterial agents to knock down those bacteria. And that limits the kind of ingredients they can put in, right? Well, with this kind of a technology, we can use maybe 1/10 the preservative that everybody else uses. We can use ingredients nobody can use, right? We get complete hygienic hands-free delivery. There's no air, no sunlight, and no skin that ever touches the container. It gets printed in your hand on demand when it's time. And it's a smart device. If you use this device every morning at 7 o'clock for a week, guess what it will start doing every morning at 7 o'clock? It'll start flashing at you. It lights up. It'll go, put your hand in me. Every morning at 7 o'clock. To remind you, right? It's time for your morning, you know, serum. 9:30 at night, you do it for a week. Every night at 9:30, it'll be flashing at you. Don't go to bed yet. Got to put your hand in me. Okay? What's another massively growing market for anti-aging products now? Men. Women, do you know what your man does when he sees all those jars on your counter? He goes like this. What are all those bottles? What does she do with all those things? It's confusing to us men, okay? We just don't understand skincare and what you women do. But guess what men will do now? They'll just put their hand in me, and I go, boom, and it's done. And you're going to see a lot of men. Men are one of the fastest growing segments of anti-aging skincare. And this is the device that's going to get them right here, for sure. Okay? Simple, fast, convenient, customized, right? Nobody can do these things except us right now. That's why we got to get there first, and we got to get these bathrooms before somebody else, you know, cracks the code and comes along and figures it out. 38 cartridges today. Within 2 years, we could have 100 cartridges. Anybody here got an Apple Watch? Everybody here's got a smartphone. What happens when there's a new feature? Do they have to throw away the hardware, or can they just send you a new download? You know, there's a new update, right? Yeah, they can just send it, you know, through the internet. Okay. Well, this is like our software. Okay. This is our hardware right here. This is like our smartphone. Okay. And these are like the apps that go into your phone. Okay. We can continue to increase, change, improve, and come up with more apps. Okay. We may have like apps for teenagers that like knock down the acne, and we can come up with a bunch of acne cartridges, right? We may have it for men alone, right? We may have it for different skin types, you know, different ethnicities. Maybe you want a different kind of product. We can continue to modify and extend this thing for the next 10 years, making it better and better and better, right? Last point I'll tell you on this. 3D printing is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's just starting now. You guys have all heard of 3D printing? You know what 3D printing is? You're going to be able to print your plates, your cups, your buttons. They can even print guns at your house. You just have to download the file over the internet. If you have a 3D printer, you can just print it right at your house. 3D objects in 3D, working objects, everything, okay? So 3D printing, go home and Google it. You'll read a lot on it. This is the world's first 3D printing skincare machine. It actually prints the physical product. And what's really cool is if you look at this cream that it prints under a microscope, there's 40 separate layers. There's like 40 slices to it, okay? And here's what it does when you have the slice. When you can print it exactly with this kind of precision, you get 3 times better absorption into your skin. You can take those same cartridges and squeeze some product out of them onto a dish and stir it up with your finger on a dish and then rub it on your face, and it's going to look like this. It's all jumbled. It's not precise, and you get 1/3 the absorption than if you lay it down precisely in those layers and then you put it right on your face. Okay? And they've done the studies to prove that the absorption's a lot higher. And that's why people say that there's never been a product like this. They've never felt this kind of quality of skincare before. All right? Now, we've got a lot of other products, and tonight we don't have time to talk about all these products. All right? This one right here, in my estimation, was the single best product story Nu Skin ever came out with. This device has 5 international patents. It's the only device in the world that can measure antioxidant protection in living human tissue in real time. No one's ever been able to do that before, and we're still the only company who does it. And that's allowed us to make better and better nutritional products, because we've now scanned over 22 million people globally. So we know more about human nutrition than any other nutrition company on the planet. So that's a value to us, and that has been a great thing. When I sponsored new people with this technology 10 years ago, almost now 12 years ago, when I brought in a whole bunch of new people with this, those teams and those downlines have paid me more than $10 million from that one product launch right there. Just in downline commissions, okay, more than $10 million, okay? So this product, in my opinion, is way better than that one. This ageLOC Me is going to be so much bigger than the biophotonic scanner. We're going to make so much more money on this than we ever did on that. You know why? Because those would go into a doctor's office or a health club, you know, or an executive would just get one and use it in their downline, in their team. These are going to go into every bathroom. Let's not say every, millions of bathrooms, okay? And many bathrooms will have 2 of these, because the guy will want one too. And it has to be his skin. It won't work if it's your formula for your skin, right? You understand what's going to happen here? Yeah. So we're going to do this, you guys, and we're going to do it in a really big way. How many Keurig coffee machines do you think are in the U.S. and Canada? Just in North America, how many Keurig coffee machines do you think have been sold in the last 15 years? 50 million machines. 50 million, okay? That's just coffee. That's not nearly as sexy as this, right? Okay, so that's a lot of scientists, you know, this is why we create products that are unique, that have patents that nobody else can get their hands on. All right, we're done with number 2. Sorry I took so long on that. We got to really hurry. Let's talk about number 3, the company. So once you know that the trends are in place, there's demand for these products, the products are different and unique and patented, and we've got a real angle here, right? Then the next question is, okay, so who's the company? Are these guys going to be able to control this thing? Can they produce enough of these? I mean, do they do all the accounting right? Do they do all the product, creation right? The labeling, the legal, the country approvals to put it in all these countries, and the warehousing, the customer service, and the IT and computer work, and there's a lot these guys have to do, right? What do? We do one thing, guys. We open our mouths and tell people about ageLOC Me. That's all we got to do. We pop the top and say, what does that look like? That looks like the cartridges in my printer. Exactly. Did HP ever invite you to get paid on those cartridges? I didn't think so. Would you like to get paid for the rest of your life? Pretty simple. That's it. That's the story. That's simple, right? So, this company, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, other than to say we're in our 33rd year. This company has been through good and bad times. The management team is great. The morals of the company are correct. Okay, they get the business. They know it's about us in this room, that their distributors are the most important part of their business. They're great leaders, they're moral people, and they always try to make the very best decision for the distributor's interest. Okay? So that's it. And, you know, we could talk a long time about it. I'm just going to tell you they're publicly traded. Everything's online. You can get all the data you want. Please do your homework. The deeper you dig, the more you're going to like what you see about this company. All right, here's two lifestyles. You get educated for 25 years, then you go out here and you know, go to work for 40 years, and then you enjoy life for 5 years, and then you check out. Well, that was fun. This is the lifestyle that most people have lived in the last 100 years, right? That's kind of the modern world of work. Okay? Well, there's a lifestyle number two, and we could call it the Nu Skin lifestyle. We still get educated, go to school for 25 years, but then we work hard for maybe 5 to 10 years. And what I said to the group in the earlier meeting is, I don't think there's anything you can do with your time for the next 5 years that could pay you for the rest of your life, like aggressive involvement in Nu Skin right now. Not all times equal, but this time right now is going to be really amazing for the next 5 years because of what we just talked about. That's going to lead the charge, and it's the best story that anybody's ever had in network marketing. Any company, I don't care what it is. Okay? We're going to own a room of the houses of the world. And it's going to pay a lot of people a lot of money, right? So we work hard and we work smart, you guys, and then we enjoy life. That's what we do, and we enjoy it a lot longer than most people. Why? Because we have a business vehicle that allows us to scale this thing. And we can spread this thing all over the world very quickly if you want to. All over this country very quickly if you want to. I'm going to be in San Antonio and Houston tomorrow. Every one of you in this room knows somebody in San Antonio and Houston. You don't think you do, but you do. Or you know people who do. You should send them to those meetings tomorrow. And I can get them for you. And you'll have people in Texas tomorrow in your team. Right? And there's, I mean, On's doing this, and Juan's doing this. Everybody's doing this all over, right? You guys can just build this thing like wherever you want to chase the business. So this is called the Nu Skin lifestyle. I'm going to make a prediction for you. In 50 years, your grandchildren will ask you the question. They'll say, Grandpa or Grandma, did you really go to a place called work? You actually had to drive your car to a building and you couldn't work unless you went to a place? It's going to be so foreign to them. Because if you have a connected device, work now happens here. And it can happen on the beach. It can happen, you know, in a hot air balloon. It can happen wherever you happen to be. You don't have to go to this place called work and check in and make your money, and when you leave at 5 o'clock, you don't make any more money. That's like insane, okay? We have built businesses all over the world that are just part of this network, and we make money 24/7. Every minute of every day, somebody's putting some Nu Skin product on their body or in their body, and I'm getting paid. It never sleeps. I make more money when I'm sleeping than when I'm awake. I don't have to go to this place called work. That is archaic. That's what happened the last 100 years. That's not going to be the future 100 years. That's going to be working in different ways in a connected world where you don't have to physically be any place because you can share any information from anywhere with anybody at any time. And that's what business really is, right? Sharing information. And that's what we have the ability to do here. And it's exciting to think about the way it's going to go. Compensation. Okay, we don't have time to do the whole compensation plan, but what I want you to just understand is that this plan has been paid now for 33 years. Nu Skin started off paying 39% of all the money that came in for product purchases back to distributors and commissions. And then they went to 41% about 5 years after I joined Nu Skin. They added 2 more percentage points to the payout. And they started paying 41% of all the money that came in back to distributors and commissions, okay? In the last couple of years, you know what Nu Skin's been paying worldwide in commissions? 44%. That's it, guys. They're not going to go any higher. They can't, okay? They got to keep their 55% to do what? Manufacture the product, pay for all the scientists, pay for the employees' salaries, cover the overhead for all these offices they have. They got to do the regular business garbage that we don't have to do. They got to pay for all that out of their 55. We get the 45 to go out and do this. That's our one job. That's all we have to do is talk to new people every day, right? So these ranges from executive at $5,500 a month all the way up to $500,000 a year, okay? $5,500 a year to $500,000 a year. Just depend upon how many people you're willing to talk to. And you know, most people work hard for a year and they'll get to this level, $30,000 a year. They'll work hard for 3 years and get to $100,000 a year. They'll work hard for 7 years and they'll be at $500,000 a year. And I'm sure most of you in this room have been doing something for more than 7 years. You've been working someplace, and you're probably not making $500,000 a year. Okay, and that's because it's not possible in your current financial vehicle that you're in. Your vehicle has a flaw. And the flaw is there's no leverage. It's just you. And if you don't show up at that place called work, then you don't get paid. Right? That's the old world, guys. It's not the way things are going to go in the future. And so what we have is we've got a way that you can build a network and you create what I call a machine. It's like you create this Nu Skin machine over here. It's this network of consumption, right? I'll just tell you a quick story. So, my first year, when I decided to join Nu Skin, I said, I'm going to do it, and I'm really going to do it. I'm not going to screw around here and miss this thing, right? I'm going to do it. When I said that first year, I approached about 300 people. These are people I knew, like acquaintances or friends or people I met. Maybe I didn't know them before, but I met them during that first year, and I said, you got to hear about Nu Skin, right? 300 people. How many people do you think actually sat down with me and went through the whole presentation? 100. So 200 people were not really interested, okay? Out of the 300. 200 not interested, I'm down to 100. I meet with the 100 and they go through a presentation like this, or something closer, maybe one-on-one. I do the same thing with them, okay? Out of that 100 people, guess how many people actually decided to join and sign up on my front line? I personally signed them up myself on my front line in Nu Skin. 33 people. 33 people the first year. Okay, now some people sponsor way more people than that, but I was able to do it with 33. So 67 were not interested after the presentation. Some of them I made my customers, and some of them just didn't do anything. They were gone. Okay? 33 people. Out of those 33, guess how many survived the next year? 13. 20 of them were gone. Now some of them didn't think they were gone. Some of them thought they were still doing it, but they weren't. They were basically gone. Okay? So out of those 13 people, either them or someone underneath them became executives on my front line and made me a blue diamond in about 12 months. Okay? Those 13 people went out and found more executives. And more executives, and their executives found executives, and those people found executives. And now today, those 13 have multiplied into more than 500,000 distributors in 54 countries. Okay? And if they wake up in the morning, which most do, they get in the shower, and they put Nu Skin shampoo on their head, and they use, Nu Skin's products on their body. They use Nu Skin's facial products, and they blend up our shakes and drink them, and they swallow our supplements, and they use our sunscreen and our lip balm, and every time they do that, we make money. Because we built this machine. It's over here just consuming all these products every day. And what's great about the machine is the machine runs on its own eventually. In the beginning, you have to be cranking the machine. You got to get it started up and get the machine running. And once the machine starts running, all of a sudden, they don't need you anymore. I like being here with you guys today. This is fun for me. I love sharing about Nu Skin. But most of you in this room, I will never make one dime on anything you do. You're way far below me. I'm your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa. Okay? Right? And so, I just hope you get it. I hope you understand it, right? Because I'm not needed anymore. Really. It doesn't change my income at all, being here tonight. Doesn't make any difference in my income, right? Because I've created this machine that's over here just cranking out money, and it just throws a check in my bank every month. This machine just keeps throwing checks in my bank. And it's been doing it every month for almost 27 years. Pretty amazing, right? And so now, because you don't have to be cranking the machine anymore, because it's running on its own, Now you have what? Time. You got the one thing nobody has enough of. The one ultimate luxury in this world, time. And you can do the things you want to do. Spend, your time helping other people or do whatever you want to do, right? So that is what is so great about this structure and about how it works. We already talked about this. Well, I think we already talked about that stuff. So my last point is this. You should start right now. Why? Because there's nothing to be gained by delaying. What do you gain by delaying? Nothing. You get older faster, and you make less money. And that's what happens when you delay. Okay? So you should start right now. Why not? Why not try this? Okay? Why not take this chance? I'll tell you what happens. The big loss is if you don't take action. That's the big risk. Okay? The big risk is you don't do it. And you're here tonight and you've heard enough and you know enough right now. Everybody in this room knows enough right now that if you're at the right time in your life, then you should just do it. Well, you know everything? I've been doing it 27 years and I don't know everything. I don't know every answer to every question, but I knew enough to start, right? If you wait and you say, I'm going to start later, then what happens is you miss that whole opportunity section there. This whole piece is what you miss, okay? Nu Skin's just going to keep getting better. We're going to come up with better products over time. ageLOC Me won't be the last thing we do, okay? It'll be a huge one. It's a great time to insert yourself into this business right now because of what's going to happen with this product. But it'll still keep going on. In 20 years, it'll keep going on. 30 years, it'll keep going on. 50 years, right? You're just going to keep hearing about it. You don't do it now, somebody will tell you about it in 10 more years and you'll go, dang it, he told me this would happen and I should have joined, back when he told me. Yeah, because if you don't join, nothing's really going to change. What are you going to do? Work a job? Go back to the job? I mean, it's just a job and it's always just going to be a job. It'll never really get you where you want to be, right? So this is a vehicle that can get you where you want to be if you're willing to pay the price. And you've got to be willing to do the work. And if you do the work, this vehicle is totally different than anything you've ever done. You may think to yourself, well, I don't know if I can do it. Well, I'm just telling you what. You don't know what you're capable of because you've never been in a vehicle like this before. And you put yourself in the right vehicle for the next time, first time in your life, you might surprise yourself about what you can do and what can really happen. And so that's what I hope you take home this evening. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. I have to go to the airport, but you guys are great. Thanks for joining.